lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
Minutes ago, Rachel Zegler found herself under intense pressure from Disney, forced to say sorry to fans after she criticized the classic Snow White film.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird. One of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024.
Her initial harsh words stirred a major backlash, compelling Disney to step in and demand a public apology to soothe outraged fans. This abrupt pivot raises eyebrows. Is it genuine love or careful scripting by Disney to protect a huge financial stake in the new Snow White remake? Stay tuned to see how this drama plays out and what it shows about the pressure celebrities face under Hollywood's bright lights. How Disney influenced Rachel Zegler. Rachel Zegler has recently sparked a lot of discussion because of some critical comments she made about Disney's classic Snow White movie. Many fans were upset, and Disney stepped in, urging Zegler to retract what she said. This has led people to wonder if Disney is simply trying to manage the situation. Back in 2023, Zegler called the original Snow White outdated and even admitted she hadn't watched it again since her first viewing. But by 2024, she was expressing her love for Disney and the very movie she once criticized. So what caused this change? Is Disney trying to protect their $300 million investment in the Snow White remake, or is this part of a larger promotional plan? As the curtains draw on this unfolding drama, the world waits with bated breath, pondering a question that could shake the very foundations of Hollywood. Will Rachel Zegler's changing stance on Snow White mark the beginning of a seismic shift in how studios control their stars, or is it merely a prelude to an even more controversial revelation? Rachel Zegler's views on the new Snow White remake shows how important the original movie was and why it matters so much to Disney. At first, she got a lot of heat because the new movie changes things up, making Snow White more of a leader than just someone waiting to be saved. This big change fits today's ideas about women being strong and leading, which is a sharp turn from the 1937 movie, where the story pretty much revolved around the prince coming to the rescue. But this wasn't the worst part. The remake also got people talking because of how it handles other characters, like the dwarfs. Disney didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings or make fun of people with dwarfism, so they talked to a lot of people from the dwarfism community and decided to go with a different kind of cast for these roles. This move got mixed reactions. Some folks weren't happy and others thought it was a good step. Rachel has been out there standing up for these changes. She says that even though they're doing things differently, they're keeping the heart of the fairy tale. She feels it's her job to respect the old story while also making it feel right for today. But here's another twist. Her defending the movie is probably part of Disney's bigger plan to make sure people get why they're updating the story. They want to honor the classic but also make it make sense for today. Not everyone likes this idea. Some people want things to stay the same and others are all for the new take. Looking at all this fuss, it's clear Disney has to walk a fine line with these old stories. They're trying to fix things that don't really work anymore without losing what made them special in the first place. And it's not just Snow White. Disney's been through this with other remakes too. It appears that Rachel Zegler is now trying to soften her harsh words about Snow White. Just last year, she made headlines by saying she was scared of the original movie and had only watched it once. But now she's saying the complete opposite of what she said before. As someone who loves Disney, I always try to watch their new releases as soon as they come out. Zegler's latest interviews have really caught my attention. Whether she's speaking in English or Portuguese, her change in attitude is hard to miss. Have you noticed the shift too? It's quite surprising. But this isn't even the most unexpected part. If we compare two of her interviews from Disney's D23 Expo, one from 2023 and one from 2024, the difference is clear. What makes this more interesting is that both interviews happened during the same phase of the movie's promotion, even though Snow White's release was delayed from March 2024 to March 2025. With Disney clearly shifting their strategy, let's explore how Zegler's comments and Disney's marketing approach have evolved over the past year. Zegler's recent remarks have drawn a lot of attention, especially when compared to what she said last year. In 2023, she criticized the original Snow White movie, pointing out that the prince's love for Snow White seemed more like stalking. She even admitted that the movie scared her, and that she hadn't watched it again since she was a child until she had to for the new film. Fast forward to her 2024 interview, and Zegler's tone has completely changed. She now calls herself a dedicated Disney fan, talking excitedly about how much fun it was to show the new movie to her friends and seeing their surprised reactions. But there's more to this shift. This dramatic change in how Zegler talks about herself and her connection to Disney is quite fascinating. She went from being a vocal critic of Snow White to being one of its biggest supporters, closely aligning herself with Disney's long history and current projects. This shift is particularly noteworthy given how iconic Snow White is in Disney's lineup, and it seems like both Disney and Zegler are working hard to reshape her image around this film. Snow White holds an important place in Disney's history as their very first full-length animated film. Because of that, it's easy to see why people, even Disney fans, have different opinions about it. Not everyone loves every Disney movie. A while back, Rachel Zegler made some comments that some felt were disrespecting the film that helped build Disney's empire. These comments upset many fans who thought she was dismissing a key part of Disney's legacy. Recently, though, in her latest interviews, Rachel has shifted her tone. Now she speaks more broadly, sharing positive things about Disney without diving into any controversial topics. In one part of a 2024 interview, a journalist asked Rachel about a modern twist to the story. Rachel explained that unlike the original 1937 movie, this new version of Snow White isn't waiting to be saved by a prince.
You said you were bringing a modern edge to it on stage. What do you mean by that?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Instead, the character wants to become the leader her late father dreamed she would be. Someone brave, fair, and honest. This update aims to show empowerment, moving away from the love story focus of the original. As we turn the page on this drama, let's explore the broader implications of star power and studio influence in shaping movie narratives. Disney changes tactics. What's noticeable in Rachel's new comments is how much they focus on the audience. She's no longer talking about the changes made to the character or the filmmaking process. Instead, she's excited to share the movie with fans and see how they react. This shift seems to line up more with Disney's overall marketing approach, which is all about connecting with viewers. This strategy isn't new for Disney. They've used it in promoting films like Deadpool and Wolverine, focusing on making movies that fans can connect with and enjoy. It's part of a bigger effort to offer some escapism, especially with all the challenges people face in today's world. The idea is to give fans a fun experience without making too big a deal out of the changes to these familiar stories. But even with this new approach, it doesn't seem to be working as well as hoped for the Snow White remake. Many fans are still upset about Rachel's earlier remarks, and their frustration hasn't gone away. You can see this in the comments across social media, where people continue to voice their disappointment. This brings up a big question. Will this new marketing direction and Rachel's softer tone be enough to turn things around for the movie? With about 6 months left until the film's release, it's hard to say. Right now, it seems unlikely that Snow White will be a huge hit. Hitting the $200 million mark at the box office might be difficult, especially given the backlash. Even if Rachel hadn't upset fans, the movie still might have faced challenges. Just look at Disney's recent history with live-action remakes like The Little Mermaid, Cruella, Mulan, and Peter Pan and Wendy. All of these movies struggled to meet expectations, despite high budgets and lots of excitement leading up to their releases. Only Cinderella and Beauty and the Beast broke the trend. Cinderella had the advantage of being the first major live-action remake, and Beauty and the Beast had Emma Watson's star power behind it. But in general, people seem to be growing tired of these remakes. Audiences are looking for new and original stories, and Snow White doesn't really offer that. From the start, it was questionable whether this film would be a success, especially since many of Disney's other live-action remakes have underperformed. But here's where things get interesting. The movie could still draw in viewers out of sheer curiosity. People might go see it just to find out if it's as bad as they expect or if it surprises them in a good way. Despite the negativity before the release, Disney likely felt they had to push forward because of how much money was already spent making the film. It's a bit of a gamble, and only time will tell if it pays off. Even if the movie flops, Disney might feel it's better than scrapping it entirely and losing even more money on marketing costs. In the end, Disney's best option was probably to release the film and hope for the best. Now the question is whether this new marketing push will change anything, or if Snow White will be just another movie in what has been a rocky year for Disney. Disney has been creating magical moments through animation for many years, bringing fairy tales to life. One of the most famous stories they've told is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, a film that became a classic. Released in 1937 as Disney's first animated feature, it set a new standard for storytelling and was a big moment in movie history. Now Disney is getting ready to bring this story to a new generation with a live-action version starring Rachel Zegler as Snow White. Her casting has created a lot of excitement and curiosity. Rachel Zegler's rise to fame is a story of hard work and talent. She became well known after playing Maria in Steven Spielberg's 2021 version of West Side Story. Before this, she wasn't widely recognized, but her acting and singing in the film captured the attention of both fans and critics. Born in Hackensack, New Jersey, Rachel comes from a mixed background, with Colombian and Polish roots. This gave her a unique perspective growing up. Even as a young girl, Rachel was drawn to performing, taking part in school plays and musicals. As she got older, her singing talent became more obvious, and she started posting videos of herself singing on YouTube. These videos didn't just show off her voice, but also how she could really connect with her audience. When Disney announced Rachel would play Snow White, it created a lot of buzz. People are excited to see how this new version will stay true to the original, but also offer something fresh. Disney's choice of Rachel suggests the movie will take a modern and lively approach to the classic story. Fans are eagerly waiting to see how the movie will honor its past while also introducing new ideas. With Rachel in the lead, it seems like this live-action Snow White will be a big cultural moment, reimagining a timeless tale for today. Her journey to fame started with her active presence online. In 2018, when Rachel was just 16 years old, she saw a tweet about an open audition for Steven Spielberg's version of West Side Story. Competing against thousands of others, she landed the lead role of Maria. This was an incredible achievement for her very first big film. Rachel's performance in West Side Story showed off her strong singing voice, her ability to express deep emotions, and her clear talent as a leading actress. Her role didn't just win over audiences. It also earned her several awards, including a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. Soon after, her growing reputation caught the attention of big film studios. Before long, Disney chose her for the lead role in their upcoming live-action Snow White, a highly anticipated project. Moving forward, this shift toward audience engagement poses questions about the future of film promotion. Rachel's role changes Disney's casting. Casting Rachel Zegler as Snow White was a big moment for Disney, signaling a shift in how the company approaches diversity in its casting choices. Instead of the traditional fair-skinned princess seen in the 1937 animated version, Rachel, who is of Latina heritage, brings a fresh and modern take to the character. Disney's choice to cast her shows their dedication to telling stories that reflect the diversity of their audience, aiming to reach and resonate with viewers from all different backgrounds. Rachel Zegler has spoken a lot about the importance of showing different cultures in movies. She expressed how excited and honored she felt to bring a classic Disney princess to life. She understands that it's a big responsibility to reintroduce such a beloved character for today's audience. Her casting for the role highlights the idea that these magical stories can belong to everyone, no matter where they come from. Disney often tries to update its old stories to fit today's values, and their new live-action version of Snow White is no different. This adaptation goes beyond simply retelling the same story. Instead, it offers a new, more inspiring version where Snow White is portrayed as brave and independent. This change reflects what today's viewers want: princesses who can take care of themselves rather than waiting for someone else to save them. When Disney released Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs back in 1937, it made history as the first full-length animated film. The story followed a traditional fairy tale formula: a beautiful princess, a wicked stepmother, and a brave prince who comes to the rescue. While it was groundbreaking at the time, the story reflected the values of that era. Snow White was sweet, kind, and gentle, but she didn't take much action on her own. She relied on the dwarfs and the prince to save her, which matched the way women were often portrayed back then. Since the 1930s, the way characters are shown in movies has changed a lot. Today's audiences expect more complex and interesting characters. Disney's recent live-action films like Cinderella in 2015, Beauty and the Beast in 2017, and Aladdin in 2019 have already started to change how we see their famous princesses. These movies now show princesses with qualities like courage, determination, and intelligence. It's expected that the new Snow White movie will do something similar. While Snow White will still be kind and gentle, traits that have made her loved for many decades, this new version will show her as more independent. She won't be waiting for a prince to save her. Instead, she'll take charge of her own future and face her challenges head-on. Rachel Zegler, the actress playing Snow White, has shared in interviews that this version of the character will be stronger and more complex than the Snow White we've seen before. Disney seems focused on giving Snow White more depth, turning her into a character that can inspire audiences today. The upcoming Snow White movie is expected to be both visually stunning and emotionally touching. Directed by Mark Webb, known for movies like The Amazing Spider-Man and 500 Days of Summer, the film is likely to offer a mix of breathtaking cinematography and heartfelt storytelling. Gal Gadot will join Rachel Zegler in the movie, playing the Evil Queen. Gadot, famous for her role as Wonder Woman, will bring a fresh and exciting energy to this classic Disney villain. With both Zegler and Gadot leading the cast, the movie promises strong performances that will be memorable. Movie fans who love the original will be happy to know that the upcoming movie will feature new songs by well-known composers Benj Pasek and Justin Paul. These two are famous for their work on La La Land and The Greatest Showman, and now they are adding fresh music to the movie to enhance the original score. Their goal is to bring a modern twist while keeping the classic feel of the beloved story. The plot is expected to stick closely to the well-known Snow White story, but there will likely be some surprises. Disney is known for making creative changes in their live-action adaptations, so we might see new characters, unexpected plot twists, or unique takes on familiar themes. One important thing in today's movies is focusing on diversity in storytelling. Casting Rachel Zegler as Snow White is a big step for Hollywood and the entertainment industry as a whole. There's been a growing push for more diversity and representation in big movies, especially in leading roles. With such a varied audience worldwide, it's important for people to see their own lives and identities reflected in the movies they watch. By choosing Rachel Zegler, who is Latina, to play Snow White, Disney is showing that fairy tales are for everyone and anyone can be a princess. This approach is exciting and also necessary to create a more fair and inclusive world in movies. But this wasn't the only major change. Rachel taking on this iconic role also opens doors for more actors from underrepresented groups to step into roles that were traditionally limited to a smaller group of people. As the movie industry moves forward, it's clear that diversity and inclusion will be key to shaping the stories we see on screen for many years to come. This decision reflects how much the industry is changing and growing, but there's more to it than that, and the impact will likely reach beyond just this film. What do you think about Disney's approach to remaking classic stories to fit modern values? Do you believe it respects the original or distorts it? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more discussions like this.